Hey guys, I'd like to talk about the whole trades, jobs things versus the university jobs. Well, it seems to me like over the past couple decades or quite a while, people have been discouraged from taking jobs of that kind. People have been pushed more in, university and these types of fields. Whereas, we still need a lot of trades. Like for example, in America, there's that guy from that show, uh, Dirty Jobs. Well, he has a campaign. He's going around America, and he's talking about how there's something like almost 5 million trade jobs available, high-paying, good-paying jobs like welding and all these types of things that people could do that companies are asking people for, like to hire people, but just they don't want them because there's been a lot of propaganda that's it's kind of like, hey, don't do these jobs, go in higher education because yes, that will pay more, and there is some truth to that, but there's also truth to, a lot of people do pick things like gender studies and you know feminism 101, whatever. Like that's not really going to add any value to society, right? So another thing that kind of happens when you don't have enough people to do your trade jobs, because let's admit it, like we need buildings, right? You need offices, you need people to build those things. So what are you going to do? You're going to either import more people, or if you need materials made, you're going to send it overseas because yeah, you don't have people to build it here. So, we shouldn't disparage people who are doing these jobs, and we should, kind of hold them a little bit more, you know, to higher standards in some sense because they're just they're just being looked down upon, and we need people to do these jobs. And we got to realize that not everybody's the same intelligence. Yes, we want everybody to go to university, but not everybody can go to university. Not everybody's made for university. You know, there's a spectrum of intelligence. There's average. A lot of people fall on average, and there's a lot of people below average, and then there's people above average. So, assuming that people below average are going to go into university and just become smart, that's not really how IQ works. You can't just raise IQ. It's pretty, stagnant, or it stays very the same throughout most of your life. So, assuming that it's not going to bring down the quality of education is, delusional. Also, when you have the government come in and then they are paying for people's, or they're making it easy for people to get loans into universities, what this does is it raises prices of universities, right? Because they know that if you're going to get the loan, no matter what, they're going to raise the price because you're going to get the loan. You're more inclined to get it regardless of the price because it's easy money quickly. So that's why there's a huge bubble in the United States currently that's $1 trillion, and half those people believe they don't even have to pay back their loans, like literally half of them. So that's a problem. So when you create incentives with the government, people will exploit them, and if you think they won't, you're delusional once again. But also it kind of justifies illegal immigration, right? People, they value these jobs less, and I've talked to people and they're like, oh well, you shouldn't be doing that, you should be in secondary education, blah blah blah, you shouldn't be doing those jobs are for the illegal immigrants. It's like, what? Like, first of all, that's pretty demeaning towards the illegal immigrants, but second of all, like, yeah, no wonder people don't want to do these jobs because they're going to be looked down upon, but a lot of them still pay very well, and they're going to pay less when you have people doing it under the table because there's no incentive for the employer to raise the price because there's a lot of shitty jobs to be done, and if people if illegals aren't able to do these jobs, and employers are fined and they're forced to hire the natives of the population, they will raise the wages to encourage people to apply for those jobs that are a little bit dirtier, that are a little bit, harder to do. So the prices will raise, and also it's supply and demand. When you increase massive amounts of people within your country, it's going to, you know, they won't have to pay you as much. It's going to stagnate wages. So it's important not to, uh, you know, add way more supply to the market. So, like I said, there's 5 million jobs, and yes, they're forced to build overseas. Overseas, it and the government should just really stop subsidizing a lot of this stuff because it's really not helping anybody, and it's in the guise of helping people, but it's really not. And whenever the government does go into something like the housing market, forcing people, or like healthcare, where it's forcing people to or insurance companies to cover people with pre-existing conditions, this will also raise the price of insurance because it's people will now wait until they are sick to get insurance because they know they will be covered. So it's just like owning a restaurant, and if you're forced to feed the people like bums that come in with no money, you're going to raise your costs on everybody else who are paying customers to make up for that, and you're also going to your quality of food may go down, and your service is going to get really slow. So that's the same with healthcare and hospitals where people can't turn people away. And that's what happens. It makes the service extremely slow. So there's many downsides to this, and people really need to consider all the different uh, you know ramifications of making people less inclined to do jobs we need. Because if something bad were to happen, let's just say there was an economic collapse, uh, knowing how to, knowing gender studies isn't going to build a roof over your head, isn't going to do a lot of the necessary things that people will need, So having those skills is important when things do crumble, and every society has crumbled, right? But when it has, people have had skills to at least survive. But increasingly we're very soft, and it's not going to look good if things were to capsize and turn on its head. That's all I have to say. Have a good day.